You're watching the news summary on Kazakh TV, review of the major news of the week from Kazakhstan. I'm Joanna Sagandikova. Good evening. The Minister of Finance, Bakhyt Sultanov, has noted that his ministry plans to raise about 1.5 trillion tenge this year to replenish the budget. According to the minister, the state debt will remain at a safe level of about 16% of country's GDP. In addition, the ministry intends to increase the efficiency of fiscal authorities. The agency will tightly control the spending under the program Joly. As the minister said, from each allocated 100 tenge, 10 should return in taxes into the budget. Also, the agency plans to tighten the fights against the shadow economy and manage all fiscal restrictions on transactions in the offshore zones. All these measures will be aimed at ensuring full collection of revenue.
First
of all, we will raise funds through government securities in the domestic market. The single accumulative pension fund is a major investor in this area. Part of these funds will be attracted by financing projects already concluded in the framework of borrowing from the international financial institutions. A number of infrastructure projects is implemented through loans from the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
In general, the country's economic indicators show growth despite negative global trends. Considering the dynamics in the period from 2010 until the beginning of 2015, the GDP has doubled from 21 billion tenge to more than 40 billion tenge, and these are the official numbers. As a result, the GDP per capita in 2009 was $9,000. In 2012, it amounted to more than $12,000, and in 2014, it totaled $13,000. In the real sector of the economy, the amount of industrial production has doubled from 12 trillion tenge in 2010 to 18.5 trillion tenge last year. The numbers in the mining industry are similar. The volume of production in this area also shows strong growth. Tengizchevroil does not intend to reduce investments in Kazakhstan's economy despite the tumbling oil prices on the global market. Moreover, the company intends to build a new high-tech feedstock refinery at the Tenge field in the Atyrau region. At least 20,000 new jobs will be created in the process of company's production expansion.
The new refinery will be the third consecutive and one of the most technologically advanced in the world and will increase oil production from the current 24 to 36 million tons per year. The financial difficulties faced by the oil companies after nearly a two-time drop in oil prices on the global market had influenced Tengizchevroil as well. However, the project is ongoing. The early and preliminary work on construction sites is currently being conducted at the deposit, that is, the construction of the new camp, building infrastructure for the future facilities for the project, as well as the construction of a seaport in Prorva. The investments of the new plant and the project of wellhead pressure wells control are estimated at several billion US dollars.
Enhance our Kazakh content through partnership, training, and education. Polygram, for instance, is a company that we do business with in the area of engineering services and construction. Broad range of materials and services.
450 million US dollars have been allocated only for the camp construction, which is conducted by the company's consortium. About 1,000 new jobs were created on the spot. However, as the company expands its operations in other regions, more jobs are to be created beyond the Atyrau region.
To start a new life with a new heart, the country has been performing artificial heart ventricle implantation surgeries and transplantation of donor organs. In total, 70 such surgeries were carried out in the span of 5 years, and all of them were successful. Such achievements could not go unnoticed, and Kazakhstan's experience in this field had interested many international colleagues. Kazakhstan surgeons held a master class for their colleagues from Germany, Turkey, Serbia, Poland, and Italy in Astana.
Although Ashat Kalikeshev is only 17, he had already tasted what it is like to fight for life. 2 years ago, the young man fell seriously ill. An acute cardiac insufficiency led to the disruption of the internal organs. Only a donor heart could save him. The first surgery was a year ago. An artificial heart was implanted in December. In November, a year later, we came back again. He was checked, and we were told to wait. And after February 20, they called and said that they had found a donor. The family received a long-awaited call from Astana exactly on his birthday, as the doctor said they had found a donor heart. Ashat couldn't have expected a better gift for his birthday. I had a feeling that something miraculous was going to happen on the 20th, and it did. On my birthday, I received a call from doctors with some great news. I couldn't even normally react and express my happiness at that moment. The flight to Astana from the Ural region and the delivery of the vital human organ from Stepnogorsk all took less than a day. The operation began immediately. The artificial implant allowed Ashat to win some time. Now the body of the young man is getting used to the work of the new healthy heart. Such operations in Kazakhstan are becoming common. Over the past 4 years, 70 people started new lives with new hearts, but the success was no accident. The new implant called ACES device has been introduced in the country. It is an artificial ventricle that supports the body. Thanks to this device, an individual has the opportunity to wait for transplantation and, in some cases, even to live with such a device for the rest of life.
Эти новые устройства впервые в мире имплантировать стали.
For the first time in the world, these new devices were implanted in Kazakhstan. We had undergone specific American expertise and were permitted to go through a certain drive, which was attended by 10 of the leading centers in the world, including our center. We have demonstrated very good results. Now foreign specialists come to us to learn. It was their request to come here, and we agreed.
Специалисты из других стран. Это было их желание приехать сюда к нам. Мы дали согласие.
Leading world experts have gathered in Astana, Kazakhstan, to learn from our surgeons. The chairman of the board of the National Research Cardiac Center, the cardiac surgeon Yuri Pya, had performed an operation on an artificial ventricle transplantation in an online mode.
New and
For me, it's really a new experience of implantation of such a complex device as HeartMate 3. In Germany, at my hospital, I had not yet implanted devices of the third generation. Today, we have the opportunity to adopt this experience from Kazakhstan specialists. One operation on artificial transplantation costs the state 25 million tenge, and a donor heart costs 40 million tenge. Under the state quota in Kazakhstan, these operations are carried out free of charge. At present, about 150 people are waiting for their turn.
4 million tenge was allocated to purchase an innovative invention. An Almaty citizen, Jibek Bukibayev, has developed a traveling wagon for sale of fruits and vegetables. The invention is unique since it complies with all the hygienic requirements. An unusual kiosk is made from natural and peculiar innovative materials that preserves the freshness. The equipment has been designed in the form of a yurt on the Bakhyt cart. The innovator spent 4 years to develop his invention. Such sorts of wagons will soon appear in Astana. The city administration had already signed a contract to buy 20 of them.
We wanted to invent such a thing that would be connected with our nation's culture and, on the other side, would be useful. Nowadays, we have only a square trailer boxes that have nothing in common with aesthetics. First, natural materials have been used in the construction of the wagon to keep fruits and vegetables fresh. Second, solar energy is utilized to cool the refrigerator and to maintain a certain temperature. Besides, this traveling shop can be used as kumizkhana, a cafe where kumiz is served.
Это вообще, в принципе, вот эта передвижная бутик, она может использоваться как бутик и как кумысхана.
The first buses running on natural gas are now produced in Semey. The new type of public transportation will help improve the environment of cities in Kazakhstan. But this is not the only advantage. The buses are low-floored. Therefore, people with disabilities and senior citizens will have an access to them as well. The new Kazakh buses are already in demand in Russia.
The work at the plant is in full swing. Specialists quickly assemble new models of buses powered by natural gas. This year, the assembly line must get 100 of these machines. In total, 8 gas cylinders are located on the roof of the bus. Each cylinder has a volume of 120 liters, which should be enough for about 380 kilometers. Earlier in Almaty, buses have been purchased from China because of the lack of manufacturing in the country. Now we have mastered the assembly. You have seen the full manufacturing process. We use more than 30% of local content in the manufacturing line. This year, 100 of these cars must get off the assembly line. The first 10 buses are going to be collected by the end of this month. I am very glad that I work at this manufacturing plant. We had to buy buses abroad earlier, and now we assemble them ourselves in Kazakhstan. And I am very happy that I contribute to the common business. The new buses have no steps. Such kind of low-floored transportation can be easily used by senior passengers and people with disabilities. Experts believe that the new type of public transportation will interest many carriers, and not only by its comfort, but also by affordable prices.
Kostanai car assembly plant is one of the driving forces of the domestic engineering industry. It produces 43 models of 7 brands of cars. There are passenger cars, trucks and buses.
This fire truck, Iveco, was produced at the Kostanai plant. Its capabilities were demonstrated in real time. The car perfectly handled all tasks it faced. The rescuers of the Almaty region had been working since last year on the domestic machinery. Their prognosis is positive. In 2014, our department has purchased 24 fire cars worth 933 million tenge. The vehicles were collected at this Kostanai factory. They have 2 functions. At the same time, they can put out a fire and carry out rescue and evacuation works in high-rise buildings. There's a 17-meter ladder. Before we worked on trucks produced in Russia and on Kamaz. This domestic car is very different. It is much more maneuverable and easy to handle. The Iveco ambulance had also demonstrated excellent features. City buses of Iveco brand have been serving the capital's city routes from 2014. The Kostanai assembly plant is planning to start the assembly of the ambulances in the near future, which will make it more affordable for all utility services in the country. Every day, the plant assembles up to 60 cars. Comprehensive support from the state allowed keeping all the jobs and increasing investment in production. By the government decision, the help to domestic car assembly plants will have been provided in the future as well.
20 миллиардов тенге будет выделено на поддержку, в том числе
20 billion tenge will be allocated for support, including 5 billion in support of leasing programs, procurement of commercial vehicles, and 15 billion tenge to support consumer demand.
на поддержку потребительского спроса. Считаем, что и, как нам говорит бизнес, подтверждает бизнес, что это очень существенная помощь.
8,500 cars have been assembled at the Kostanai plant last year. The percentage of local content in the cars ranged from 30 to 40%. After 3 years, the level of localization will increase up to 50%. This will reduce the cost of domestic cars by 12%. The price will decrease by more than 5% in 2015. This will allow to take additional measures of state support.
Первое, это, конечно, те преференции таможенные по...
The first is the custom preferences. We have a zero rate for the accessories. The second is the investment in construction and equipment that we have received from the Development Bank of Kazakhstan leasing company. The next tool is a Roadmap 2020, and one more new tool, 20 billion tenge, will be allocated for all automobile assembly plants. This is a huge, unprecedented support for the automotive industry.
Огромная беспрецедентная поддержка для автомобильной промышленности.
Also next year, the company plans to train 350 people and to launch several projects. Among them is the assembly of low-cost passenger cars of new brands.
A new 2-level parking will be constructed at the airport of Astana in the beginning of 2017. It will considerably ease the existing problem, as there are only 2 parking lots in the airport at present, with capacity of 250 and 170 parking spaces, and that is not enough. For information, the airport's runway will also be reconstructed. Also, a new terminal with total area of 45,000 square meters will be constructed by the start of the Expo 2017 exhibition. The inflow of passengers is planned to be increased by 7.5 million people per year.
На реконструкцию из национального фонда выделено 29 миллиардов тенге.
29 billion tenge was allocated for the reconstruction of the national fund. Additional amounts will come from co-financing of our shareholders. These are borrowed funds. Also, additional funds will be used from other banks.
И также заемные средства, как говорится, будут привлекаться из банков.
The Atyrau police received the first badges with implanted audio and video recorders. The device is powered by a radio battery, tapes videos, takes photos and records sounds. The battery life is up to 12 hours, which is the regular length of patrol officers' working shifts. 25 patrolmen were provided with new technical devices in Atyrau to date, but by the end of the first quarter of this year, these recorders will be provided to 80% of the personnel. The device is meant to capture the actions and conversation of officers with violators, including offers of bribes and intimidation by high-ranking officials. In turn, this video could be used as conclusive evidence in court.
This will provide the evidence base in cases where offenders abandon their actions, what is often found when stopped for drunk driving, for violating the order. On the other hand, it disciplines the police officers themselves and will not allow them to violate professional ethics.
Young artists from Poland and Kazakhstan drew pictures for the international exhibition dedicated to the Year of People's Assembly of Kazakhstan. The Petropavlovsk Museum of Fine Arts has set up a gallery of patriotic works for the public. Imagination of children surprised even rigorous jury members. The task of the creative competition was to tell about the culture of the two countries. About 300 exhibition participants helped to strengthen the Kazakh-Polish relations.
The current global events show that the People's Assembly of Kazakhstan actually plays a very important role in the education of tolerance and knowledge of cultures. We become more tolerant and spiritually richer when we learn the cultures of other people.
On behalf of the President, preparations for the shooting of historical film began at Kazakh Film Studio. The unique project Kazakh Joly is dedicated to the 550th anniversary of the Kazakh Khanate. The first press conference with the creators of the series has been already held. 2 film directors will shoot the film. First 7 series will be directed by Rustem Abdrashov, as the last series will be shot by Jibek. A group of writers headed by Smagul Yelubayev and Timur Shakslikov worked on the script. The production designer is Sabit Kurmanbekov. The film describes the period of the middle of the 15th century, the collapse of the Golden Horde. Mostly Kazakh actors will star in the film, according to the creators. However, people who are far from the film art can also take part in the edition. The filming will be held in the Almaty region. The premiere of the series Kazakh Joly will take place on December 16th.
This is the period of formation of our Kazakh people as ethnos, as a state, and it happened just 90 years earlier, before Ivan the Terrible proclaimed himself king in all of Russia. Therefore, we can say that the Kazakh state was formed 90 years earlier than our neighbors, actually formed during the collapse of a large Golden Horde.
На 90 лет раньше, чем у наших соседей, реально образовалась в период распада Большой Золотоордынской империи.
До сих пор никто не трогал эту тему. До сих пор, особенно кинематографисты. И, наконец-то...
So far, no one has considered this topic, especially filmmakers. Finally, it turns out that we have spiritually and economically developed enough to show the history of Kazakh Khanate, that is, Kazakh statehood, to our young viewers. We have studied all the historical data on this time and took the novel Nomads of Ilyas Yassin-Berlin as a basis. However, since this is a different genre, it is a series, so we fantasize a little bit according to the TV series genre.
И берем за основу роман «Кочевники» Ильяса Есенберлина. Однако, поскольку это другой жанр, роман – это роман, кино – это кино.
These were the main news for the past week on Kazakh TV. You're watching the news summary from Kazakhstan, my home country. I'm Jana Sagandikova. I'll see you soon. Have a good and productive week. Goodbye.